Hey guys, it's Patrick Hall with Fstoppers, and this is my son Hudson. He absolutely hates having his picture taken, but today I think I came up with a way to make taking photos a little more fun. Woo! I think I gotta change your diaper. So if you're anything like me, over your photographic career, you've probably taken pictures of a bunch of different things, and you have certain genres that you like and certain genres that you absolutely avoid at all costs. And for me, I've always found that the most difficult thing to shoot ever has always been pets and animals or children. And so when you become a dad, you start saying, well, I gotta take pictures of my kid, and all your friends are like, man, you're a photographer, you must have amazing photos of your child. And I feel a little ashamed that the pictures that I've taken of Hudson aren't that great. And up until now, he's been less than a year old, and in some ways that makes life easy because he's not mobile, and so he just sits there and he's not gonna run away. But because, you know, he's 1 year old, I can't communicate with him, I can't direct him, I can't even really hold his attention towards the camera many times. So I started thinking, how could I make taking photos of kids a little bit easier? And I'm going to, on camera, try something that I've never done before, but in my mind, it seems like it would work. Today's video is sponsored by Aftershoot. This is an invitation to discover the secret to unlocking your full potential as a photographer. Enjoy the experience, not just the results. Aftershoot isn't about selling you a product, it's about giving you something invaluable: time. It's like having your own personal editing assistant working alongside you. Same day edit, next day delivery. Curious how AI can edit just as you would? Try Aftershoot and experience the magic for yourself. Effortlessly cull and edit your way to success. Aftershoot is the partner every photographer dreams of. Click the link in the description below to try it for yourself. Start your journey today. Aftershoot is waiting for you. Let me tell you my game plan here. I have noticed that every time I try to take a photo of my son, I either put the camera on a tripod or I try to hold the camera in front of me with live view on, and I'm trying to get his attention. I'm trying to be like, Hudson, look here, and I got the toys and the squeaky toys and all this stuff. I have people behind me, and no matter what happens, every time I look at the pictures, I realize my son is not looking into the camera. Instead, he's looking slightly up at my hand or at my face or at the people behind me. And as you can see right now, you can really tell that I am not looking into the camera. I'm looking slightly above it, and it totally ruins photographs. So I thought, what if I could use a teleprompter to get my kids' attention? Basically, a teleprompter is just an angled piece of glass that allows you to put the camera behind it, and then it will reflect anything that you put in the tray and show it in the screen. So I've noticed when I FaceTime one of the grandparents, Hudson is super animated, they can get him to laugh, and my thought was, what if I use an iPad and place it in the teleprompter, call them, or maybe even put on a YouTube video that he likes. He will now stare completely at the video screen, and then behind the teleprompter will be my camera, and I'll be able to take perfect pictures with him looking directly into the lens. At least that is the idea. So I'm gonna go ahead and build this and show you how it works. The brand does not matter at all. In fact, I bought the most inexpensive teleprompter I could find just to test this out. I'll put a link to it in the description. The purpose of this box is to remove any reflections. If you've ever tried to take a landscape photo and you've been inside a building, and you just take a picture, sometimes there's random lights in the background that are reflecting on the glass. The best way to get around that is to put some kind of black shirt or skirt, like a lens skirt, around it. That's essentially what this is, so I'll be able to put my lens right here. This is very top heavy, so let me go ahead and grab a camera here and try to mount this. I might also put some quick release plates just so that I can remove the camera and this whole apparatus off of a tripod much quicker. All right, so I don't have my iPad with me right now because my son's taking a nap. We have some music playing, but let me see. If I put this in here, you can see the sheet of paper is now being reflected towards the camera. And let me see if I put my hand in here, you can see my hand behind the glass. But if I block this out perfectly, my son or anyone that's in front of my camera will not be able to see that there's a camera right behind the glass there. And so, you know, I think this could work for a lot of different applications. You know, I've never tried shooting a dog with this, but I know my dog, if I put horses running through the ocean, he is just captivated. He just sits there and just watches forever. So if I needed to get a portrait of my dog, maybe the easiest way to do that would be to put him on some kind of table where he can't move and then put this thing in front of him and just play animals or something. So let's get this all set up. I have my tripod set up with the teleprompter and the camera. I'm gonna be shooting at f4, but that should give me a pretty shallow depth of field. I'm gonna be zooming out, so I'm gonna put the teleprompter pretty far away from my son. So that's one thing I'm kind of concerned about, is with 8 to 10 feet between him and the teleprompter, will that capture his attention? We will find out. My key light is a Profoto B10X here. I just have it in a strip box. This is a 1x4. I wanted a strip box just because I didn't want it too overpowering for him. And then to fill in a little bit more on the right side, I've put this foam core V-flat as close as possible to him. And I might even turn the light a little bit more sideways so that it's firing into the V-flat, and that should give a little bit of fill. I've added a hair light here, and this is just another B10 with a honeycomb grid. I'm trying to prevent light from lighting up the whole scene. This light should just come down here and hit my son in the back. And then my third light here is a background light, and I've been changing this out with a grid, which is just going to give like a little spotlight effect like you see there. But then I've also been using the Profoto barn doors to give me a more asymmetrical kind of pattern on the background. So you can definitely use that however you want. But essentially 3 lights: background, hair, and then this is my key light that's just going to be illuminating the fill light as well. And then of course he's going to see some kind of content on the screen, whether it be FaceTime from his grandma or maybe some of his favorite YouTube videos. Oh, and let me show you this real quick. I need to set him into something. So I've rigged up this little seat. This is made by Bumbo, and I've strapped it to the Apple boxes, and then I've put some sandbags here that I'm gonna put up against it so that he can't go anywhere. And I definitely wanna lock him in. I have this other little pack and play thing, this little, I don't know, activity table, but I feel like the problem with both of these is when he sits down, I'm going to see this in the shot. I think what I'm going to do is just kind of shoot past the chair and primarily focus on like a headshot or something. So we'll see how these turn out once we get them in here. So I imagine getting my son in here and taking a bunch of pictures is going to be a little hectic, and so I don't know that I'm gonna easily be able to run cameras. I'm gonna film a little bit of it and show you some B-roll and some behind the scenes and maybe give you a little commentary as it happens, but I'm hoping the teleprompter makes this a lot easier. Typically my son can only take photos for about 5 minutes, then he starts throwing a fit. I think if I have content that he can actually focus on, maybe he'll chill out and it'll be a much more pleasant experience. Let's see. So before I use the teleprompter, let me just show you the type of shooting situations I normally experience when photographing children. Hudson, 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 Hudson boy, right here, look, Hudson, 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 oh man, I can't ever get you to look over here. Hey, look at that boy. Okay, as you can see, it is hard to get him to look in here. I can never get the light to go where I want it. Hudson, look, I need to do a test shoot. I need to do a test shoot, no! Oh. Now let's see how the teleprompter works. Look at that, now he's looking straight at it. Look at that. Now I just gotta get him to stop biting his jacket. All right, I think we're gonna get it. Look at this, he's like in the perfect headshot pose. Look at that, he is just attentive. I cannot believe how big of a difference this made. I actually found myself enjoying taking photos of my son. Now I just have to get him to smile. Let's call Grandma. So there you go, using a teleprompter to take headshots of children. How was it? What do I think about it? Well, as you'll see some of the images here, they turned out really great. I don't know that I've ever taken pictures in his entire life where he's looking at the camera so intently. I think this was a great tool to use. I'm definitely gonna have to play around with this a little bit more. There are a few things that I wasn't expecting. One, I didn't expect him to kind of have the same solemn expression so much while watching YouTube videos. And so maybe I need to find the perfect video where there's kids playing, or like maybe a video of kids making faces to him so that he can react to them and laugh. And they could pull out more expression, because once you're behind that teleprompter, he can't see me at all. So I really didn't anticipate having no involvement in my son's interactions. It's all basically the content that you play on the iPad. Another thing I didn't expect was when I FaceTimed Hudson with his grandmother, she can usually get him to light up really easily, and they make all these crazy faces. They have this great relationship, even though they live long distance. And one thing I didn't anticipate was when you put the iPad in the teleprompter, she now can't see Hudson, but Hudson can see her. So it's kind of this weird one-way communication where she's trying to get him to do things, but she has no idea if he's actually doing them. So I don't know if there's a better way to do FaceTime where she can have a little bit more input or something like that. Maybe you could do like three-way call where she could then see his reaction with a camera that's facing towards him, but that seems so cumbersome. So maybe there's another suggestion. If you guys can think of something, leave it in the comments below. But as you can see from these photos, I mean, I think they turned out great. Initially, I was shooting him kind of straight on, just sitting in the chair, and then I turned the whole setup just like 45 degrees so that he would have to turn his head a little to the left to look at the iPad. So I was able to get some interesting body language in play that I normally wouldn't be able to do. Directing him is near impossible, so if you can kind of put the child in a certain position and kind of force them into the position that you want, I feel like that really turned out well. And then I had some images like this that turned out great, but I just don't love the child seat that he's standing in. So maybe there is a better way to show more of his body or get his hands involved. I wound up just cropping a lot of the images to where you can't even see his hands, you can't even see his lower body. And I think they look a little more classy and timeless without showing the children's seat that he was in, but it kind of leaves you only shooting, you know, waist up. I think this expression is when the YouTube started playing one of my videos instead of the content that he wanted to watch. Pretty funny, but then he lightened up, and then we got some great shots here at the end. I think this might be something I leave kind of permanently set up and off to the side so that I can continue to document my son as he grows. If you wanted to make this into a business, I definitely think that this might be a tool that you could use. Let me know what you guys think. If you have any other suggestions on how to shoot kids and get them to look into the camera and to be attentive and to get expression out of them, let me know, because as a new dad, like, this is very difficult for me, and I feel the pain of all you family photographers who shoot kids. So if you guys enjoy this kind of tech and photography content, make sure you subscribe to our channel below. Go ahead and give us a like, leave a comment, and maybe even click another YouTube video on our channel. That's going to help the algorithm. If you guys want to learn more about photography, maybe your flash photography lighting skills aren't right where you want them, or maybe you're still confused about what type of lens or what aperture you should be shooting at, check out our tutorials at fstoppers.com/store. Over the years, we've teamed up with a bunch of different photographers who are specialists in their small little genre of photography. So whether you're trying to shoot headshots or wedding photography, maybe you want to get into architectural photography, macro, swimwear, fashion, beauty, basically anything that you can think of, we have a tutorial about that. And as you see in these images, a lot of the techniques that I've picked up working with these guys, I can now apply in taking photos of my son. So I think it's really important for you to learn as much about photography as possible if you want to become a better photographer. And if you're the type of photographer who's a little competitive and wants to see how your work holds up against other photographers, Lee and I have revamped our Critique the Community. Basically, it's a contest where Lee and I pick our 10 favorite images submitted by our community. And basically, we critique our 10 favorite images to see what we like about them, what we might change, how to improve them. And 3 of the 10 images submitted will win some really cool prizes. We're only doing 1 of these a month, and we've gotten some great sponsors. So you might win a camera, a lens, maybe some kind of cool photography related product. And then 3rd place always wins a tutorial from the store. So if you want to check that out, head over to fstoppers.com/contest. I've got to get out of here. I think I hear my son crying, so he has just woken up, but he hasn't seen these pictures yet, so maybe I'll show him some of these edits and hopefully put a smile on his face.